For me, I have some experiences and so I'm pretty familiar with it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What about the others who are specially participating in UNSC?
We participated in a few MUNs before, so yeah, we've had experience.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I will be very briefly telling you about our MUN and your allocations, and then how to go about the research. We have already shared with you the background guides of WHO and UNSC. Also for UNSC, there is no position paper required. For WHO, yes, position paper is required. But you can submit position paper before the conference. That is a day before the conference, you can submit that. So you don't have to worry about, any submission deadline. In fact, you can submit on the first day also. Now, to begin with, of course, any MUN workshop, if we talk about how can we not talk about a brief history of United Nations. You all know that in 1945, after the Second World War, United Nations was established to bring peace and prosperity throughout the world. India saw bloodshed during Second World War. Europe saw it. In fact, Europe was the major player during Second World War. America saw it. Even Southeast Asia was not untouched by it. Your own country, Cambodia, has also faced that. So there was a requirement that we have to have an organization, which can stop future wars. This has actually led to people believing that United Nations is all about peace and security and nothing else. But whereas if you've seen just 2 years back in year 2020, when COVID was detected, how important was the role of WHO, that is the World Health Organization. There are some countries which are first world countries, they are industrial countries, they are Western countries, the health infrastructure is very advanced. They mostly don't require the help of WHO, but most of the countries in Africa and many countries in Asia and South America require the help of WHO, right? So it brings back to the brief history of United Nations, that is United Nations all about peace and security? No, it is not. WHO's United Nations has expanded its role during the course of time, from science to education to trade to commerce, IMF, World Bank, labor organizations, maritime organizations, you name it, health organization. So the United Nations is doing a wonderful job throughout the world. Hence, it was decided by the students of Harvard University that why not organize Model UN Conference. So in Model UN Conference, as most of you are already experienced and you have done MUN conferences, you know that it's basically a simulation or a proceedings of actual United Nations. There are different committees which we enact. In our conference, we had 7 committees this year. Your delegation opted for 2, that is United Nations Security Council and World Health Organization. For that, individually, the Deputy Secretary General of the conference, Ashvi Vig, she is present in the meeting. She will be talking about the 2 committees and the agendas in detail. And she will also be talking about the speech structure and the position paper for WHO. And then at the last of the slideshow, I will be talking about how to prepare yourself for both the committees, basically how to go about the research. So I would skip this because most of you are familiar with what Model UN conference is. So it would be repetition from my side too if I talk about Model UN, what is Model UN, or how it came about, or what are the expectations from you. Of course, you dress up like a delegate and you put across your country's position on the agenda, you look for the solutions, you pass a resolution, and during the course of time, you make friends, you get acquaintance with different cultures, different students from different schools, different colleges, different countries. Here in our case, in our MUN, you would be coming across students from France, students from Belgium, students from UAE, and of course, India. So we have students from different countries participating. Of course, it is online, but the experience which you will gain, you will remember it for the rest of the life. Here are a few cartoons, I usually keep it when we are talking about what Model UN is. This is basically when the League of Nations failed and the Second World War took place. And then after the Second World War, there was a need to bring about United Nations. So these cartoons basically are talking about that only. A very brief history about our own eAIMUN, that is Amity International Model UN Conference. Here in these pictures, you can see when for good 10 years, we had organized it in our university at NCR. These photographs, beautiful photographs, are from that time period when we used to organize offline mode. Due to COVID, last 3 years we have been organizing it online. This is our university from Dubai, and we have also organized eAIMUN in Dubai. Here we had participations from Japan, from South Africa, and of course from UAE and India. So this is from these are the photographs from our campus from Dubai. We have also organized MUN in Singapore, eAIMUN Singapore. We have a campus in Singapore as well, and these are the photographs from MUN conferences from Singapore. Good school from Philippines also joined in this MUN conference, other than Singapore schools and Indian schools. And it was a wonderful experience. So this was just a brief history of our MUN. Like I said, last 3 years, we have been organizing it online. Now, of course, on this slide, you can see your allocations. This has been sent to us by your advisor. You are representing Malta and Switzerland in United Nations Security Council, and you are representing Malta, Serbia, and Switzerland in World Health Organization. During the course of time, if you have any query, any question, you may ask it. Feel free to ask anything, any query, any doubt. Of course, GA we are not organizing, but very important part of United Nations. You already know that there are 6 GA subcommittees: disarmament, economic, social, and financial, special political, decolonization, administrative and budgetary, and finally legal. Now, a couple of you are in Security Council. Now, Security Council, this is a very beautiful photograph of Security Council. You can see this we took when we went to when we took a tour of Security Council. You will know that Security Council has 5 permanent representatives: People Republic of China, Republic of France, Russian Federation, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and United States of America. 10 on the other hand, who are the who are they are the elected members, and their tenure is for 2 years. Their allocation is divided from different parts of the world, especially the continents. Herein you can see on this slide, 2 are from Asia, 3 are from Africa, 1 is from Eastern Europe, 2 are from Latin America and Caribbean, and 2 are from Western Europe and others. Now, all these 10 members who are elected and temporary, only for 2 years, their quota is already decided. Amongst that pool, they are elected by that region and sent to United Nations Security Council. There are other UN committees you can see, UNSC, other than UNSC and UNGA. You can see UNICEF, you can see UNEP, you can see UNDP, you can see UNESCO, Human Rights Council, in IMF, disarmament committees, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, World Food Program, World Health Organization, WTO, UN Women, UNFCCC. In fact, like I said, this year we had 5 more committees which your school did not opted for. Amongst them was, of course, United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Another was United Nations Women, that is UN Women. The third one was Press Corps. We are doing a wonderful agenda in Press Corps, artificial intelligence, role of artificial intelligence in news media. We are also doing Indian committee, so of course that becomes irrelevant for you people. But we are also doing other than that, WHO and UNSC, of course. And of course, yeah, we are also doing G20. India was the host of G20 this year, and we are doing a wonderful agenda in G20 as well. Now, over to Ashvi. Ashvi will take over from here. She will be talking about specifically about United Nations Security Council and WHO. The 2 agendas which are there in UNSC and WHO, that is, one is the territorial dispute in South China Sea, and that is in United Nations Security Council. And the other one is in WHO, that is the role of artificial intelligence in the new technology. So she will be talking in detail about these 2 committees and the agendas. So over to you, Ashvi.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Ashvi Vik, the Deputy Secretary General of eAIMUN23, and I'll be taking forward the training session, especially focusing on the 2 committees which you guys have applied for, which is UNSC and WHO. So one of the main importance of UNSC is basically the security of the world. They need to maintain the peace throughout the world. So as you can see, this time our agenda is expansionism, projecting power and territorial disputes with special emphasis on South China Sea. So the South China Sea, as we all know, is one of the biggest places for imports and exports of oil and natural gases. And that's why all the major countries of the world, they want their power on the South China Sea so that they can further control the imports and exports. So this topic is very huge. It's very vast. There are a lot of things which can be considered in this topic. And you guys have got amazing portfolios. So you guys can raise good points regarding the same. First, I'll talk about your committee as in UNSC. UNSC has a mandate. So if you guys know about the UN Charter, the UN Charter Chapter 5, if you guys can go on Safari or Google, and you can just search the UN Charter Chapter 5, which is based on UNSC. It gives the UNSC mandates of what is the UNSC's power, what are the voting procedures. So it will just tell you how the committee as a whole functions. So that's one thing. Second thing, in UNSC, there's one differentiating factor in UNSC, which no other United Nations committee has. which is the veto power of the P5 countries. So as Sumit sir had said, that the P5 countries include the People's Republic of China, Russian Federation, United Kingdoms and Northern Islands. Then we have United States of America, and then we have France. So these are the 5 countries which have a veto power. So these 5 countries have the power to say no to any DR, to vote against any DR, and that DR cannot pass. Usually in other committees, what happens is that you need a certain majority for the DR to pass. But in UNSC, if any of these 5 countries vote against the draft resolution, even if the draft resolution has a majority, then the draft resolution would not pass. So they have a special power, which we call as veto. This only happens in UNSC, it does not happen in any other committee. UNSC, one more thing which is very important in it is its mandates, the powers of UNSC, which I've already told you. So if you guys can go and you guys can open the chapter 5, it's very easily available. You guys should thoroughly know what are the powers of UNSC. As a UNSC delegate, what all can you suggest the committee as solutions? So that is for UNSC. Now, when I talk about the agenda of UNSC, as I said, that the South China Sea has a lot of energy resources. So as we know that a lot of energy resources, when we talk about oil and natural gases, they have a huge potential for an economic growth of a country also. So what other countries are doing is they want to get their maximum power over the South China Sea so that they can become one of the supreme countries, as everyone wants power. So UNSC is just talking about how that the conflict in South China Sea, which is going on since ages, how to end that conflict and how to end it in a peaceful manner so that everybody gets the resources, but there is no one majority country who has exclusive power in that area. So that's all for the United Nations Security Council. Then when I come for WHO, which is the World Health Organization, we need to understand that WHO also has a different functioning. WHO is a very solution-based committee. It is not like in other committees, you can target other countries. But WHO is more for deciding how to provide more solutions regarding the problems. In other countries, you can target on countries like maybe XYZ country hasn't done this well, what is their stance? But in WHO, your main focus is how to develop the countries in terms of healthcare. When we talk about WHO's agenda, it is integration of AI in healthcare. I think everybody knows that as what they call, we are growing, the AI technology has a huge impact on our lives. We all have shifted from normal phones to iPhones and like mobile phones, and now further we are having robots and all. So as you guys, I think you guys may have heard that a lot of countries have already started having robots doing surgeries. So that is also a part of AI integration in healthcare sector. So your main focus should be, is AI healthcare good for the healthcare sector? Should we have integration of AI? You guys can raise a lot of points. You guys first need to decide your country's stance on, is AI good in the healthcare sector or not? Because for once you decide that you want to go pro AI for the healthcare, or you want to go against it, that's how your debate can further work. I hope I made myself clear. Thank you so much. Okay, so this was about your agenda. Then we have the speech structure. So I'll just talk about what a good speech structure should be. Usually when I am a delegate, what I do is that we have the research or the problem which you present. Your speech structure, should be in 3 parts. First should be your research or your problem. Second should be the analysis. And third should be the solution. This will give you a perfect, concise speech that will give a lot of substance to the committee and will help you put your points forward as well. So one more thing which I want to state is that a lot of people think that in any MUN, you should just need to research and then you can copy paste and just present it to the executive board members. That's not how MUNs work. Researching is a big part of it, but the analysis on the research, that is more important in an MUN. So whenever you're forming a speech, you can give about 3 or 4 lines to the problem. Then you need to give about 10 lines to your analysis, and then again 5 lines for a solution. So your main impact in an MUN in your speech should be the analysis. Cool? Okay, thank you so much. Then the last thing which I want to cover is the position paper. So a position paper, we're not having it in the United Nations Security Council. The position paper is only for the delegates of WHO. So the position paper is basically your country's stance on the agenda, what your country feels, what your country has done regarding the agenda. So that's it. There's nothing a lot in a position paper. That you'll just be told to make a document in which you have to write. The format of the position paper will be sent to you, but usually it is you need to give your country's name. Then you'll have to state your agenda, the committee, and then you have your country stance on the agenda. That is your country for AI integration? What has your country done in process of developing AI in the healthcare sector? So that's how your country's stance will be presented in a position paper. I think, yes, we've covered all the main 5 points, which is your committees, your agendas, position paper, and speech. Are there any doubts which you guys have? No?
Everything is clear so far.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sumit sir?
Yeah, thank you, Ashvi. Let me then continue. Okay, so how to research for your committee? Of course, these are few important points which we need to, we need to take care of. First is, what is the name of your committee? Sometimes we get confused. I have seen, trust me when I say this, like for instance, a lot of people don't know the full form of UNFCCC, or they get confused between UNHCR and UNHRC. Both are different committees. One is for human rights, another is for refugees. So it is very important to know your name of your committees. Like I was telling you in the beginning, like for instance, I'll go back to the slide, and if I go back to the slide, I'll show you that you need to know which GA is your committee, because GA1 is different, GA2 is different, GA3 is different, GA4 is different, GA5 is different, GA6 is different. So it becomes very important that you know what is our the name of our committee, and because then only we can do proper research. Why was our committee founded? Now, various committees have been founded for various reasons. When it was founded, why it becomes very important that when it was founded, because if we are doing a historical committee, then it is very important for us to know that, you know, when our committee was founded. What are my committee's powers? I mean, like for instance, if you are in WHO, you can't penalize any country economically. It has, I mean, only Security Council has a power to penalize any country economically or put sanctions. No other committee can put sanctions on any other country. So this is a reality. How many members are there in my committee? How long does the membership last in my committee? Like for instance, I told you Security Council, non-permanent members of the Security Council, they have the tenure of 2 years. Does my committee report to another committee? How does voting works in my committee? There are certain committees in which a resolution is passed. There are, like for instance, GA, Security Council, like WHO, the resolutions are passed. And there are certain committees in which no resolutions are passed. They issue communiques. Like for instance, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that is NATO, issue a communique, right? Or press committee will issue a communique or will do a press conference. They don't pass a resolution. So it is very important for us to know about our committee, then only we can do our research. How would you describe your committee's role in United Nations? You need to find out all these answers before you start doing the research for your committees. Now, what are the available resources online, genuinely available sources online to, you know, to start research? Well, there is a CIA World Fact Book. There is a US State Department if you are a United States of America, representing United States of America. Then there is United Nations website. There are permanent missions of every country in United Nations. You can go to that site. Your own country must be having an embassy in a particular country or foreign department a website. You can go and look for any particular statement on the agenda which has been given in his ever by your country. You can research for it. There are websites which talk about UN organizations, how UN system works. If you go to BBC's website, then they have country profile of each country. You can there was a time when there were MUNs were very less. There were only 2-3 MUNs throughout the year. Students took time to visit embassies. I remember our school visiting embassies, which we were representing. We used to visit and we used to talk to ambassadors. There was this time also. Then we need to start working on different other aspects, like for instance, what is the exact name of our country? What is the capital of our country? What is the currency of our country? In which continent our country is? What is the official language? In which block our country is, whether it is in Western bloc, whether it is in Eastern bloc, whether it is on the China's bloc, or whether it is a non-aligned bloc, whether it is a Russia supporter, whether it is a NATO supporter. We need to know all that. What type of government is there in our country, whether it is a monarchy, whether it is democracy, whether it is a one-party government. Was our country ever a colony of European power? What is the religion in our country? Like for instance, why religion becomes important, because you must have seen that when WHO promoted COVID vaccine to certain countries, there was resistance. They said that it is against our religion to take vaccine. So it is very important for you to know when you are going into committee that what is your religion and what does it preach. What is the current ruling party which is ruling our country? Is the government independent, or the who is the head of state? All this is very important while doing research. Then, is the population indigenous, or it's the immigrants are calling the shots, like United States of America, Canada? All the indigenous population has been put to back burner. Similarly in Australia and New Zealand as well. You have Westerners now calling all the shots in these countries. It is very important for us to know all that. Is the coastline, is there any coastline in our country, or our country is landlocked? What is the average lifespan of our country? What are the major ethnic groups in our country? Whether there is a poverty rate what is the poverty rate in our country? What is the education system like in our country? In WHO's case, it is very important for you to understand that what is the health structure in our country, whether we can even accommodate AI in our health system. When you are talking about when you are looking for the resolutions or solutions, you need to also look at whether we can accommodate AI in our health structure. Or when we talk about coastline or landlocked, we need to know that how the conflict in South China Sea affects trade and commerce, how it affects passage from that area to our country in terms of trade and commerce, or security, or for that matter, if you are a neighboring country, how does it affect your country? What do you export? What do you import? Like for instance, if tomorrow there is a conflict with China, most of the things are imported from there. How does it affect your supply chains? Like US, like Ukraine, Russia crisis has affected fuel and food supplies to the rest of the world. Conflicts, they do affect the economies of the world, even if you are sitting far, far away from that conflict zone. So you know what are the natural resources available in your country, what is the human development index of your country, what is the employment rate in our country, what is the GDP of our country. These are very important questions when we are doing research. Is our country allied with any P5 country? Is our country a nuclear power? Are we associated with any military organization? Are we a member of NATO? Are we a member of any military bloc? Are we in conflict with the country? Like, for instance, one of you were representing Switzerland in Security Council. Now, Switzerland is considered to be a country which has a neutral policy. They don't ally with any particular country. Even during Second World War, their neutral stand helped them in during Second World War, and no major country tried to invade it. So you know, all these things are important for us to know when we are doing research for a particular committee, be it WHO or be it United Nations Security Council. Environment is another very important issue which affects most of us and requires research. You also need to understand that environment is also related to health, because there are certain areas where environment is different from the other area. Different health system works differently in different areas. In cold areas, virus affects body differently. In warm areas, virus affects body differently. So don't ever consider that what would be the role of environment if I'm doing a research on WHO, right? These all things are very important, like your influence of your country is very, very important. That we all saw during COVID crisis, that how influence of a country affects its role. Like, I can talk about my own country, India, which became a major global supplier of vaccines, COVID vaccines during COVID crisis, be it COVID Shield or Covaxin. India, in fact, did a vaccine diplomacy. It was termed as vaccine diplomacy, where the countries which could not afford vaccines and which did not have any health structure in place, India started supplying vaccines free of cost. So as I said, all these things are very important when we are doing research for things, for committees like WHO and United Nations Security Council. Now, last but not the least, get an issue, highlight those key points, the keywords, define each keywords, find relevant documents related to the issue, position yourself on a particular topic. Your position is very important. That would also be reflected in position paper. Then start doing research, and you will do a wonderful job. Keep it in mind that this is an online conference. Here in online conferences, it is difficult to lobby, because when we are meeting each other, when we are doing an offline conferences, the unmoderated caucuses, we meet, we greet, we lobby, we show our diplomatic skills, we form caucuses, we form groups, we form DRs, and we try to, we try to defend our DRs, that is draft resolutions, and then finally you defend your DR, and then you open it for the committee to vote on it, and then it can pass, it can fail. But in online conferences, it becomes a little bit difficult to lobby, especially. So mostly your debating skills, your verbatims, your points, your valid points. Even if you're not able to lobby properly, what type of DR points you can contribute and give it to the executive board will matter. There will be a marking sheet which will be maintained. There will be a recognition sheet which will be maintained by the executive board. And everybody will get a fair chance in the conference. So with that, I would ask you if you have any question or a query, you may ask. If you want to clear any doubts, the floor is open for you to ask any questions. Or yes, delegates, does anybody have any query?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Regarding like how everything goes in MUN, is the online conference still gonna have like the same things as like a physical MUN? For example, like lobbying, caucuses and stuff, it'll still be normal, just but like a bit different from the physical one, correct?
Yeah, a bit different. Like, we will be providing you with an opportunity to lobby with each other. During unmoderated caucuses, what happens is that when unmoderated caucus will be taking place, of course, you people can interact with each other in a room, right? Through online. On screen, you can interact with each other. You can share your points with each other. So it will be just like that. But when we are in front of each other, it is much more convenient, I hope you agree with me that, when we are in front of each other, it becomes convenient for us to interact, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question. So since there's only one topic per committee, as for the resolution, will there be just one resolution per committee, or it'll be decided by the chair later on?
See, there can be multiple resolutions which can be introduced, that is DRs, but ultimately one resolution will be passed, right? So, but there can be multiple draft resolutions be discussed by the committee, right? But ultimately only one can pass, right?
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So one agenda will be discussed throughout 3 days and will be discussed in detail. That's why I was emphasizing on research, that, the more you do research, the better you are prepared. You will be able to interact more with the students, your fellow delegates. Anything else? Yes, go ahead. You are muted. Dela Cruz, you are muted.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, what happened there? Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not explicitly using Zoom. We actually use a different format here, Google Meets. However, with regards to note taking, I assume everyone can just send private messages in Zoom in exchange, in lieu to the traditional note passing.
Let me check with the administration. Sir, from Ahmed University, एक क्वेश्चन है कि इसमें क्या कहते हैं, प्राइवेट मैसेजेस भेज सकते हैं क्या जूम में? आशवी, लास्ट ईयर कैसे हुआ था?
So last year हमने क्या किया था, हम लोगों ने Zoom पे प्राइवेट मैसेजेस भेज सकते थे, बट हमने Telegram यूज किया था फॉर YIB चैट्स, या WhatsApp मैसेजेस भी यूज कर सकते हैं.
पर इसमें प्राइवेट मैसेजेस भेज सकते हैं?
हाँ, इसमें 1-to-1 messages भेज सकते हैं, via भी नहीं हो सकता.
You reply to them.
Okay.
Okay, the Deputy Secretary General will reply to this.
Okay, so delegates for this is that 1-to-1 messages can be sent to another delegate, but for via EB chits, we will just get back to you. Either we will be using Telegram as a platform or we will be using WhatsApp for the via EB chits. But for delegate to delegate chits, you can use the Zoom platform itself. It has a provision for sending messages privately. I hope that's clear. Okay, thank you. Now, are there any doubts?
I have one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the online conference, will there still be like a team of secretaries and everything, similar to the physical conference?
Yeah.
Yes, delegate. Sorry, sir, should I? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
okay,
Yeah.
So delegate, I'm a part of your secretariat. We do have a secretariat board. We will be having your executive board. We will be even conducting your feedback session after the end of the conference every day after the end of your conference. So you do not need to worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, any other doubts?
Feel free to ask anything. Your all doubts will be cleared. You can ask anything.
Nope. I am all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe they're done with the doubts.
So then, shall we call it a day then?
Yeah, sure. We can, if there are any questions from our side that we were not.
You write a mail to me.
Now, then we will just communicate it to you through email.
Yeah, just write a mail to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice meeting you all. All the very best.
Yeah. Thank you very much for organizing this. We appreciate it. And we're excited for the eAIMUN conference.
We are also excited to host you.
All right. Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.